is busy over here on the right-hand side signing for two young fellas. So what I'd ask if it's okay is everybody make sure you buy the book, but then after the three people have chatted quickly, Paul's going to sit down here and sign it for everybody. Is that okay? So that he actually gets to circulate with people. So my name is Niall I'm called publisher from Book Club Publishing. We're based over in Athenry. And we're really, really delighted to have worked with Paul on this book. It's really, I think, an outstandingly well-researched book. You're all here, I presume, because you've either been taught by Paul, the kids here, and some of the adults, I understand, or your friends, or you've trained with Paul, you've been coached by Paul. So you'll all understand how Paul is as a person and how Paul presents. And I suppose when we first met Paul and started to work with him and edit his work, what we really found interesting was the very unique blend, I suppose, of his interest in grassroots, allied with his deep understanding of philosophy, and then his research into sports science, sports methodology, and coaching methodology. So I really think it's an important book. The fact that it's been carried in full pages in the Connacht Tribune and the Galway Advertiser shows the kind of interest. It's 180 plus pages, and Paul will talk about his own theory himself. So, without further ado, if you could ask the man who's currently signing to pop up and say a few words.
Thanks so much. When I grow up, I want to be Paddy Butler. So, Paddy Butler is a special man. He's been 49 years coach. He was a national director of Carver in Ireland for a long time. And he set out an ambition of taking every child in Ireland to go to Ireland. I think he nearly got it, probably did. Every day of his life he travels to a new country, a new place, a new college. He was in Mary this week and he was in Congo with the teachers. So he's an eminent man in this game, man I admire deeply, and I'm so lucky that he's here, and I think we are, and I think we'll enjoy it. Whatever way we'll be comfortable, there'll be a bit of talking, I hope it's interesting, I think Paul's going to be special, and that's me. I'll chat with you about it, okay? Thanks.
Paul, I'm overwhelmed by this honour. Thank you. I hope everybody can fit in. A full house is a great compliment. This is a really splendid publication, coming at a really good time. There's a great teacher in the world, Brené Brown. I don't know if some of you know of her. She's a wonderful woman, and she has millions of followers now in how to live in the world today with its complexities. And she's a wonderful woman. And she was trying to come to her own philosophy because she was being asked to talk all over the world. And she had to define her own position in the world. So she came with this sentence: everybody is doing the best they can with the tools they have. So I believe that firmly. And I think Paul believes that the same way. So there's no point in giving out about things. But what you can do is give people better tools. And this is the best tool in the world today, of any sport, of any time, ever written. This is the finest thing, because it pulls our Gaelic culture, our Gaelic games, and hard-nosed science research with it. That hasn't been done by anybody. We all love the hurling, and we all have the tradition in Galway, and Tipperary, and all around, we have the tradition. But the discipline of preparing young children for the new world, to be a teacher or a coach of children in the new world, is a big challenge. And without this tool, I don't think anybody, well, maybe you could by 90, you could be a good coach. But 90 is a bit late in the day, yeah. I'm heading for the 100 now, but I'm still going. So, Paul sent me this book, and I had it on the iPad. I go through it every evening. What I'd say to you is this: any single paragraph is worth a day or two. So instead of trying to read the whole book, try and get a paragraph, read it and reflect on it. So I want to tell you a story now about Tom. Maybe Thomas from Galway, I'm not sure. But he went to Birmingham, like a lot of people did from Ireland, every generation. And he got a job there as a sweeper in a very run-down area of Birmingham. But he was a really good guy who had a vision. And gradually, by sweeping the streets and talking to the neighbours and helping them to sow flowers and cut the grass, single-handedly he transformed the big area of Birmingham. And when the Queen was given out her honours, Christmas 12 months, he was nominated and he achieved the Queen's Award. And the BBC went to him and they said, "What is it about you?" Well, he said, "The strangest, I'm here 22 years," he said, "the strangest thing I've ever, I have the same brush as I started with." Some people began to wonder, did he do anything at all? But of course he did. But he said, the funniest thing, he said, I changed the handle 12 times and the head of it 10 times. But it's the same brush I started. So by the time you have that worked out, then you'll be 100, wouldn't it? So this is it. We have to change and we have to stay the same. And this is the challenge for us all. If we're going to honour our young people, we must change into their world. We must hold the values of the old world. And that's where we are going to be relevant to young people. And how the GA is so relevant now. With our fine stadiums in Croke Park and Central Stadium and Mere Stadium, with our fine stadiums now, we can show off our games. And our children are more committed to Gaelic games than ever. And they want to wear their club colours and they want to play for their school and they want to play for their university. So it's a wonderful time. Most people in my time, the education system and the system generally of life was based on fear and shame. And people would say to you, "Bonnie, are you ashamed of yourself? You're not ashamed of yourself." And you'd say you were ashamed of yourself, because we were all ashamed of ourselves, yeah? Wasn't that society? But that day is over now. So, this great Brenny Brown tells us, fear and shame, they kill these things: love, joy, belonging and creativity. The very things that the children will need for the next generation. Love of place, love of themselves, love of their club colours, love of their great culture that we have, joy in being fit and well and alive, belonging to a place. I was in St. Patrick's, Drumcondra, where a lot of young teachers go to be teachers, and in Mary as it happened this week. And when I go in there, I will meet 1,000 children in there, in Dublin or Limerick, far away from home, all wearing their club jerseys. Now isn't that some testament to where they belong? So they're away from home, right? But they know where they belong. I'm nobody in Dublin, nobody knows me here, but look, I belong really important somewhere. And I was looking at the YouTube today, and Bahrain had their Gaelic Games Championship. And they were there from every county in Ireland and every country in the world. And they played their Gaelic games because they knew where they came from. Their roots were deep. They belonged really. The GA had made an impression on them. So the challenge is, like Thomas Sweet, how can I change and how can I be the same? So love and kindness, I suppose. Love and kindness is the thing that we all cherish in our lives. So Paul's book here, number 1 is C for Connect. Professor Wade Gilbert, who's the leading coach education person in the whole world, who lives down in California and came to the national conference in Croke Park last year, has connectedness as his single first ingredient in any coach, and I'd say any parent, any teacher. The ability to connect to the other person as a human being, other than saying what we said in our time, he's useless and he's great, she's useless and she's great. To get over that old thing that did no good for anybody. There's a young boy there playing for Dublin midfield, number 8, what do you call him? Fenton, yeah. I'll tell you about Fenton because I got to know him and he's a mighty man. He never lost the championship game for Dublin since he started playing. He's 4 years played, 4 All-Irelands won. When Tipperary played Dublin in the minor football Ireland of 11, he wasn't on the panel. 5 of his club, Raheny, were on the 15, and he wasn't there. And now he's there, and none of the others are there. So saying people are useless when they're 10 and 12 and 14 and 16 is a total fraudulent thing. Nobody knows who's going to be good in the end. Nobody knows who's going to live a long life. Nobody knows who's going to die young. Nobody knows nothing. All we do is look after all the people in our place. And this book is the best guide in the world today as how to treat young people properly, how to cultivate our Gaelic games, and how to have the club as the centre of our communities. And I would say safely in Tipperary and Galway and many other counties that without the GA club there would be no community any. Would we go with that? So that's what we do. We look after people's children. The days of control and command as a method of coaching are over. And after that then would come a void only for Paul's book. So the big challenges now are the physical and mental health of our children. We can do a good lot about the physical health. The mental health is a bigger worry to most people. This week alone, I heard of 5 people I know who committed themselves to a mental hospital. 5 people I know. And they're not of any age. They're at the age when they should be really enjoying themselves and coming alive. But the pressures of being in the modern world are so great. And it doesn't seem to matter man or woman, rich or poor, educated or uneducated. This mental health is across the board. Would that be your experience? There's nobody now, there's no somebody unfit. So we have a duty now, bigger than we used to have before, to make sure that the young people know they're cherished, regardless of how good they are to hurl. The customs and traditions and sayings in some counties, they can be rude and crude, or they can be precise and positive. So Paul's book is helping us to move away from what is rude and crude. I was at a game up in the north, the PSNI or the police there, and some adult on the sideline shouted in some horrible thing to a child playing a match. The parent put out the phone, rang the PSNI came and took that person away. That's a true story. So crude and rude on the sideline is going to be a thing in the past. Certain parents aren't going to tolerate it anymore, and the whole thing, you saw that out in Athenry last year, surfacing. So people have to be respected. And this is a great tool. So if I want to retrain myself in how to be, so that the children will love Gaelic games. If I'm rude and crude, they can't love Gaelic games. So Paul has done us an infinite service in drawing on the best educated research in the world and putting it into common language. To help a child to connect with themselves. The certain thing is now, there was never as many means of communication available in the world today, and there was never as much loneliness. That's a contradiction, isn't it? So now we have 20 teenage boys or 20 teenage girls on a phone to somebody else, experiencing loneliness in themselves, trying to connect to somebody they do not know, because they can't connect to people they do know, because they don't have the skills. And us adults, we're at a loss to know how to do it. So Paul, we're indebted to you for providing us with brilliant stuff. Helping a child to connect to themselves, connect to their neighbours, connecting to adults, connecting to their coach, connecting to their parish, so that they can live wherever they live in the world, knowing that their roots are put down nice and firm. And we know now the hurlers of Limerick and Clare and Wexford and Cork are over in Boston. And in many West of Ireland people will be there to meet them, yeah? Every yard you go in Boston is Irish, isn't it? Most of you will have relations in Boston. So it's a lovely thing that the GA would recognise that and send their teams out to them, because they all can't come home because of all kinds of circumstances now. So the GA recognises that, and Kilkenny and Galway went to Australia to meet the Australian young generation who have gone out there, and I think that was a wonderful gesture, and they will be there. And there's 35,000 tickets sold for Fenway Park on Saturday, which is just tells you the story of connect. These people are connected. The challenges of the new world with phones and iPads and that are different than the challenges before. and we don't know what dangers our children get themselves into. And therefore, we need physical activity in our fields where phones are away, where iPads are away, where there's real world going on. You fall in the muck and you get up, and you fall and you get up, and you miss the ball and you get the ball, and you build up resilience. Learning from the phone is going to be very phony, and it's going to leave another generation down the tube. What do we expect of coaches in the future? Will we expect coaches to be civilized, educated people that parents can trust with their children? I suppose there is a calamity of trust in the world now. We're saying who we can trust. We're not sure. America is in crisis with its leader. They don't know who they can trust. England is in crisis with its leadership. So all over the world there seems to be this thing going on. Within our local areas, we have provided coaches that are trustworthy. Coaches that children will go to day in, day out, Tuesday, Thursday, for years and years, and thanks be to God for those. All I want to do now is congratulate Paul on a lifetime's achievement. There's many a person has got their PhD and their Masters in Education, and their work is not as strong as that. So Paul is drawing on an experience of teaching and reflection and club building at a rate that was maybe unprecedented in Galway. So to Paul, our heartiest congratulations. I'm endorsing this book because it's the best of its kind in the world today. I'm not talking Gaelic games, I'm talking it's the best of its kind written in the world today. It's my business to have all that stuff researched. Paul pulls it together from all sources. From the great Carver, all the great psychologists and all the great humanists in the world. And he draws on sources from every sort. From physical well-being, mental well-being, from social gathering, holding communities together. And in Galway now we have extremes. You have the massive populations of the city, and you have the weakening population of the rural areas where facilities are really good. And we have that all over the country. Where we have brilliant fields and no people. And then we go into the big cities where we have masses of population and we don't have the facilities. And we're just not happy that government has allowed that or caused that to happen. We're not just happy about that. So the GA will have to respond in its own way. Some people are amalgamating, and some urban areas need new clubs. So Paul, on behalf of the GA officially, this is an outstanding contribution to the health of the nation. This will be embraced and accepted in every county, in all coaching circles, and you can sleep well tonight. You have achieved your lifetime's work.
We very, very much appreciate you coming along this evening and lending your expertise and your endorsement. I know Paul was very, very happy that you were going to endorse the book and talk tonight. Just to say before Paul comes up that what Paul is saying about children and sport is so important. A lot of research that Book of Publishing is doing at the moment in the area of mental health is looking at smart technologies and what smart technologies is doing in terms of rewiring the brains of children and how children are interacting with themselves and with each other in the world. It's absolutely crucial that as adults we as much as possible encourage our children to go into sports. And to get our children into sports, we absolutely need coaches, which is one of the reasons why we were so happy to work with Paul on this book. And we've been working with Paul for just over a year at this stage, and when Paul came to us first, he had a huge folder of philosophical quotations that he wanted to put in the book. And one of our big challenges in editing Paul's work was to look at his use of quotations, because as Paulie rightly just said, they come from philosophy, from psychology, from anthropology, from sociology, from right across the health and social and behavioural sciences. And Paul is a very, very well read individual. And coaches are just so important. My own young fellow plays with Monaghan Rugby Club and has played with me for the last number of years. I don't know if you here play rugby, if I just diverge from GA for a moment. But Monaghan Rugby Club, they train, they get changed in trailers. They have no clubhouse, and yet they've won several cups over the last couple of years. And the reason that they've won those several cups over the last few years, aside from the resilience of the young lads themselves and the young girls themselves, is because their coaches are absolutely dedicated. And that's what Paul said when he first came to me, that he wanted to bring out a book that spoke to the ordinary coaches, the everyday coaches, the coaches that turn up over and over and over in the lashing rain and the howling wind on Saturdays and Sunday mornings. So, Falk again, come up and say a few words to us.
Martin, and well, come over, come in here. You want to sit in here? Yeah. Okay, hi. Thanks, Neil. I didn't really get time to write a speech, but I'm just going to talk. In 1992, my parents brought me to a county quarter final with Carver playing, and it was team getting red, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the red jersey with Carver, and that just kind of pulled me. It's such a draw on me, and I just wanted to contribute as best I could. And I'd say when I was about 17, John Carver, who's down there, asked me to train a team, and I said yeah, and I just got the boat, I just got into it. And that kind of took me along, it took me so many places, like, you know, we had brilliant days. The only job I ever wanted in sport was to coach Carver and others, and I did that, and I wanted to do it again someday. But I went with Mike Fox then, and we did 3 years, and it was just magic. We just did whatever it took. I think was the way the phone call used to always end. Whatever it takes. So there was a lot of crazy in that. And after that, I'd gone on. I was down in Roscommon for a year, Paul Pearson. Then I spent 3 years with Clare Gall, 2.5, and you know we had great days there too, and we made progress. And then I always was with kids and coaching and everything and teaching. And I learned so much about human performance and teaching and the importance of the collective. So I've been coaching for about 19 years, but I started giving coach education workshops, and I was trying to explain to people that it's just not about how fast they can go out and back or how much we can roll or whatever. And I kept trying to explain it deeply to would-be coaches, people that were great people that probably just couldn't see it as deeply as I thought it needed to be seen. So I just said, I'm going to have to write a book about this. And I started, and I tried to write about an analogy about teaching and coaching is about bringing out the best in people, that's all it is. Whatever means, tools you can use to bring out the best. So the Latin for education is educare, which means to draw out or to lead. So, you know, methods are so many, like it doesn't matter how we do it once we bring out the best in people. So that analogy or that drawing out, I heard a quote one day. It said, like, I really like quotes, they just put things into my head. Words create images for me. And it was from Michelangelo about the angel David, and he said, I saw this angel in the stone and I carved until I set him free. And I said, Jesus, that's class. You know, and I said, that's really important. So we will rock a stone and next thing we put out a sculpture. Wow. So then I remember telling my late father, I have this thing in my head, it's Carver or it's Carver. So eventually, anyways, I settled on Carver, and there was six elements to Carver which I just dropped in, and then I started dropping everything around it, and then this book kind of came. So this is not a book of answers, it's just a book of questions. That's all it is an aid to being the best you can be, because there are no answers. So I'm just going to go through the elements, and thanks for your attention, but I like to talk about this. So the connection is the first one. Now in each element there's about 6, 8, 10 elements, but the first one is the interpersonal connection. So I do a lot of one-off coaching sessions with kids and different people, and I really don't feel I do well in them because I don't know them. And if you don't know them, you know, they don't get you, you don't get them. These boys here know me, so I can do loads, I can interact with them at a different level because I know them. So that's the first thing. How can we connect interpersonally? And then if we look at a team, how can we connect the team? Because unity is savage. The power of the collective is something that fascinates me. So we need to build a brand or whatever and have values and different things, but how can we do that? So connect the team. And then I always say when you're dealing with people, you have to paint, or young kids, you have to paint the future. so they can have aspirations to what they want to achieve. So I always connect them to the future in the game. And I'm always saying, to our lads in Carver, like in 10 years' time when I'm standing up and when I'm sitting on that stand, I've got to connect them to their future because it inspired them. The next connection, or how we connect with parents, and all we can do is try and love the kids, and that will take care of itself. So we connect with parents as best we can, and then we connect with our management team, and then we connect all the elements we do in training back to the game, because that drives our application to it. If we're doing something, there must be a reason why. And then every session, we must connect one session to another. We must connect with different organisations. That's connection, and it's a full chapter. Then awareness is the second one. So we have coach awareness. So I didn't understand coaching until a couple of wow moments. I won't go into them, they're in the book, and it was like, geez, man, how powerful is this? So the first thing we must be aware of in this coaching is the power, potential and scope of coaching. And if it was done really well, what would it look like? The next thing being, if I'm coaching, I must have huge self-awareness of why am I there, what does it feel like to be coached by me, blah, blah, blah. All them questions, so it's just questions. So we have role, and then what's the role, and then all we're trying to do, my definition of coaching is raising awareness through challenging the system appropriate. All we're trying to do is create a sense of self-awareness in the child so that they go out and practice and play. There's three awarenesses. In-game awareness, which is decision making, of-game awareness, which is kind of all the rules and the principles and all that kind of stuff, and then the self-awareness. So we're trying to get everyone to be the best they can be, so if we can drive that self-awareness, that's great. Then R is just research. What are the needs of the child, what are the characteristics of the child, what are the behaviours of the child, and all them different things, and the role of consistency in learning, and the role of mistakes. And then we go into the player, which is more the mindset, the physical qualities they need to layer upon the technical qualities and to bring that into a kind of a game and to provide them principles in which to play the game. And then their lifestyle is important too. And then we go to V, which are values. And the values we kind of have and try and transmit them as much as we can. So mine are very simple. Respect, effort and fun, it spells ref. If we respect each other and all that and respect the game and everything, we work well. The effort is all, I always say, just judge effort. Judge effort first, everything will follow. And then fun, because it has to be fun. So even if we have the best session in the world ever and if it wasn't fun, it's no good. And then the visions, which are basically the most important thing. So you got to start with the end in sight. So what would the player look like? What should the player look like, Chelsea? What's the vision for the player? B? He doesn't know. Well, it's water. So Bruce Lee says water can flow and it can crash, because adaptability in sport is really important. And it can freeze and thaw, and you can put water in the teacup and it can become the teacup. So I think of water. And then we need a vision for ourselves. What do we look like? What should I be like as a coach? And for me, I want to be positively different. I used to say different, but then I had to say positively different. And I want to bring belief and spread awareness. Then we need a vision for the team, what they look like, the team, and we need a load more visions. There's about 8 in it. And then we come to a thing called endorsing, which is basically being positive. But it's not being kind of token positive. It's saying, I love the way Connor is looking at me there. Thanks, Connor. All the boys are sitting up straight, that's excellent. So there's a thing in your brain, what I understand in language, it's called the reticular activating system. And what it does, I understand, because I'm not a scientist, is that it makes you see things you value. Luke is asleep. Yeah, Luke. It makes you see things you value. So if I value effort and respect and fun, and if I understand the game and the technical qualities, well then all I really do is see them. Because I'm looking at it through a scope, or a number of scopes or lenses. And then all I have to do is, when I see it, all I have to do is say it. I love the way you moved your feet, I love the way you did that. So it's about being very specific. And I needed an E in the Carver method, so endorsing was that word. And then the final vision would be the vision for a session, to plan it out and all that, them little things. So everything leads up to that's the V, we forgot that vision, don't we? Endorsing. And then the R is reflection. So we all have really great aspirations. There's no man ever set out to do wrong, really, But if we build this world and we have our values and visions and we want to connect and we want to do all these things and we want to be this person, but how can we drive accountability? So what I used to do is I used to mark myself out of 10 on all the different elements of the Carver method. and he used to grade my session. So the first time I ever did it, I remember I was 52. So that would drive my self-awareness. Did I connect? Did I do all these different questions? And then I used to say, I will start, stop, and continue. And it was that reflective plan, do, review that I thought was the only way to improve. So I was saying, you plan your work your plan, and then reflect on your plan and your work. And it was that cycle. And that's kind of it. So the Carver framework is a set of lenses to view how you want to coach and who you want to be. And then the process allows you to reflect, for congruence, like we need congruence. And it doesn't mean, the big thing for me is it's not so perfect, because there's people down there that say, geez, what's this that on? Because he does to me. Like, we all make huge mistakes, but how can we just get better at getting better? Really? That's the fine point of what I'm trying to get. So I really hope, I put my heart and soul into that book. That's all I have. And it came at a human cost, because the struggle, it was a long, and I packed it in so many times. But I put it together at the end. And the thing I'm going to end with now is, you're kind of reflecting all the time. But I always talk about relearning, because everybody knows nearly everything. There's no big secrets out there. But do we know what we're learning? Or relearning, I call it. So I know this is important, but I forget. And then someday it pops up into my head again. For me, what I relearned in the last period writing the book was the power of support and the power of encouragement. And I'm not going to thank anyone individually, but there was times when I was giving up and people said, stick at it. There was, you got the phone call, there was so many times when people supported you. And what I've learned as a coach in the last month or two really is the power of support. It's huge. To see good or whatever and to say stick at it. So I thank the people that encouraged me and supported me in the last while, because it was a struggle. And I wrote on a lot of the books today that the struggle is the pathway, because there is no other way. So I don't know, is that okay? If anyone has any questions, I talk all day and all night about coaching. If there's any way you can help me get what I believe is a good message out, I appreciate your help. And I don't really have, I can't remember, I don't have much else to say, but I think that's enough. So,
the boys and girls would like to ask Paul a question about his book, not about his teaching. Or any of the daddies or mummies or sisters or brothers or anybody else here have any questions?
in my class we always do ask the teacher. It's like a therapy. They ask me questions and I give them honest answers.
Yeah, there's a question here in the front row.
What do you enjoy about coaching?
Great question. What do you enjoy about coaching?
And I'm being really honest with you here. If a child comes up to me at the end of it and smiles and says thanks, and I know that they mean it, that's class. I just know. And you know when they mean it, and it's a special thing, because you just say, yeah, that was cool. You're making a difference. And not in a corny way, like when you know it's genuine, that's great satisfaction for me. So that'll be my number one. It's a great question. Questions give you answers. So the book is full of questions. Yeah, it's not a book of anything else on questions.
Anybody else? Yeah, another one here.
Why did you write the book?
Why did you write the book? Good question.
I ask myself that question a lot of times. I wrote the book because I believed in the power and potential and scope of coaching. And I also believed that it was really hard for a person who might be teaching or something to be a good coach, because it's so big. I practice it every day. I'm 13 years teaching, and I was terrible when I started, but I practice every day, and I'm okay now. So I wrote the book for someone who might really want to coach well, but might know where to go or what to do or where to start. And I wrote that for them, that they could find their own answers. So that's something that they would build their own coaching world. And the catchphrase of the book is, it's a book to build your coaching world. It's not another book of drills, because you have to get down to the core before we can build it. So that was it. Thanks for the question. Brilliant.
Professor,
sorry.
When did you start liking sports?
So I was there.
I started. I started sports, liking sports when I was your age. Really, really young. Yeah, really young. I want to see what Alan is going to ask me.
That's all right. I thought Alan.
What inspired you to be this great, smart man you became today?
Asked by one of the most intelligent children I've ever taught, and thanks for coming. I just had an innate work ethic. I think it came from my parents. I just wanted to know what's the best way to do this. You know, that was a fascinating question for me. What is the best way to do this? Because winning and losing is going to come and go, and we're going to lose more than we win, like. And winning can't validate you. Like it's like, what is the best way to do this? So I just set out that, and it was really tough, really tough. And I always say, you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything. So I chased that, and it came at a price. Like it came at a cost. Like, you know, it's not easy sometimes getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock to write a book because you have no other time. And in the human interactions of teaching and coaching, there's so many in a day that some of the people that are closest to you, you're not present when you're there because there's so many other things to do. That's one of the human costs of it. Like you can ask my mother, I might be at home, not even for an hour and a half, but I'm not there. Somewhere, I'm in another world all the time. And, you know, I'm hoping to learn how to manage that. Ava Collins.
What makes coaching so important? Like, why do you do it so much? Like, do you play sports as well, or is it just coaching that's the most important thing?
I was one of these know-it-alls. I always thought I knew more than the coach, so I ended up being a crap player. So that was basically it. I played for a while, but I didn't apply myself enough really, and I could have done more. But I had this passion for coaching, and it kind of, when I was about 18, took me in that direction a bit more. So what's so important about coach? Well, so if we look at what we can draw out, so like a coach, the power of one good adult that's supporting you, the potential in that. If we got this right, if we were diligent and we got it right, and we put huge qualities into kids about sportsmanship, like, well, you know, it's a huge social thing if we got it right. You know, give your best. You're going to win and you're going to lose. Treat each other with respect. Now, I'm saying these words and I didn't always do them myself. We're just trying hard. But I forget what you said, but that was it. Kino.
Did you put in your pyramid of success?
So anyone who knows who's ever been in my classroom, I have loads of pyramids of quotes. I'm on a 4th pyramid now, is it? So I believe in, like, it's endorsing, so I believe in the power of being able to create words that will give. We do a book of life lessons, and every day we do a life lesson. We try to. Now, we don't do enough maths and Irish and English sometimes because we're doing life lessons. That's okay. Someone else will do a lot more of that. So I had an awful lot of quotes, and I will tell you, all of my quotes, the struggle is the pathway, usually there are strengths. They can all name them, we do them every day. There's no pyramid in it, I don't think, but it's near enough. That's keen, and this is coffee, great man.
What drives you to teach and coach?
But to coach in Carver, because I want to make that place, or help make it great again. That's the why there. So on my coaching, when I plan a session, the why is written on the top of it, and it's Viva the Reds forever, and I wrote that in a lot of the books. That's why I'm there, to make it great again. And the teaching, I just can't believe that I get paid to do it. That's it. They pay me into the bank, so I don't really see it. And I've never really connected the two, that I'm going in here to talk and have a laugh, and they're paying me. Because when I was your age, I used to work with my father on building sites all the way up, and that was work. Yeah? And then I became a teacher. You know, we enjoy it. Yeah? Yeah? Thank you.
Just one more question from the floor.
Why do you like coaching?
Read the book.
Thank you very, very much, everybody, for sitting through the book launch. As I said, Paul will sign books over here for people. Could I just ask a favour for people? Obviously, as Paul's publisher, we want to get as much traction for his book as possible. Lots of you have mobile phones there. If you get a chance, can you go on to Book Hub Publishing, the Facebook page or the Twitter, and just put a comment on being here this evening so that it gets some traction tonight. Okay, thank you very much, and safe home, everybody.
Good.